This video is intended as a supplement to and an overview of the Grant Installation Instruction Sheet, which is written with procedures from the Factory Shop Manual. Throughout this video, we will reference steps from the Grant Installation Instructions, so please feel free to follow along. Grant recommends that installation be performed by a qualified service provider, such as your local GM dealer, a certified mechanic, collision repair shop, or local airbag service center. Many of these service centers will come to your home or place of business to change out the airbag and wheel for a reasonable fee. To find these providers, check the internet for airbag service, mobile airbag service, or check the yellow pages. If you wish to perform the changeover yourself, please read the entire installation instructions first to become familiar with the procedures and terminology used, and be aware of the following safety precautions. Always wear safety glasses when repairing or handling an airbag. Always carry a live airbag module with the trim cover pointed away from your body. Always place a live airbag module on a bench or other surface with the trim cover facing up. Never probe the connectors on the airbag module. Airbag modules with discolored or damaged covers or deployment doors must be replaced, not repainted. Position the steering wheel so that it's pointed straight ahead. You may want to write down all of your radio presets, as these may be lost when you disconnect the battery cable. Disconnect the negative battery cable and wait at least 1 full minute for the circuit to completely discharge before proceeding. Failure to fully deplete the backup power supply could result in an accidental deployment and possible injury. Using the Allen wrench, release the 2 spring fasteners by pushing inward through the access holes. The access holes are located on both sides of the rear plastic steering wheel shroud. Lift and partially remove the airbag module from the steering wheel in order to expose the electrical connectors on the back side. Take care not to pull any of the wiring. Disconnect the safety locking connector position assurance clip. Disconnect the electrical connectors from the airbag module. Remove the airbag module from the steering wheel and place the module face up on the floor, seat, or workbench. If you carry the module, make sure the trim cover is pointed away from your body. Disconnect the wheel switch wiring harness at the column connector. Remove the horn plunger by pressing downward and rotating the plunger 90 degrees to the left, then pulling out. Remove the horn switch assembly by loosening the 4 Torx screws holding the contact plates to the steering wheel, and remove this entire mechanism from the wheel. Note the orientation of the wires at the top of the switch mechanism so you do not reinstall upside down. Take care not to pull any of the wiring. Remove the steering wheel retainer nut and mark the shaft and wheel for alignment. Remove the steering wheel by using the steering wheel puller as shown in the printed instructions. Remove the rear plastic shroud by removing the 2 Torx screws on the back of the wheel. Loosen the wiring harness from around the hub of the wheel to get enough slack to remove the switches. Push each switch out from the wheel slightly by inserting a narrow flat blade or Phillips screwdriver into the rear hole in each spoke, and push the switch out the front of the wheel. Push slowly and evenly, and do not stab at the switch or you may damage it. When the switch is clear of the wheel, disconnect the wiring harness from it and remove the switch. Remove the switch wiring harness from the original wheel by pulling the switch connectors back through the hole in each spoke and removing the plastic clip from the wheel center. Reinstall the switch wiring harness in the same orientation as it came out. Push the leads from the wiring harness up through the hole in each spoke so the plug end that goes into each switch is protruding out of the switch hole in the front of the wheel. Connect the wiring to each switch and push the switch back into the new wheel in the same location as the old wheel. Take up the slack in the wiring by pulling it back through the access hole while pushing the switches in. Reinstall the plastic shroud with the screws previously removed. Position the new wheel onto the shaft, aligning it to the mark made earlier. Install the steering wheel retainer nut and torque to 40 Nm, 29 foot-pounds. Reinstall the horn switch assembly by positioning onto the wheel and tightening the 4 torque screws securely. Make sure the wires are at the top of the switch mechanism. Reinstall the horn plunger into the plastic tube by pushing down and rotating 90 degrees to the right. Position the airbag module near the wheel and connect the electrical connectors to the module. Connect the safety locking connector position assurance clip into the electrical connectors. Seat and lock the connections. Position the alignment posts of the airbag module to align with the holes that are located on the steering wheel housing. Push the airbag module into the steering wheel to engage and latch the 2 spring fasteners. Once positioned, pull up on the sides of the airbag module to ensure that both spring fasteners are fully engaged. Reconnect the negative battery cable. When the ignition switch is turned to the on position, the airbag indicator light should flash, then turn off. If the light does not flash or remains on, there is a problem with the connections that must be resolved. Reset your radio station presets and clock and enjoy your new Grant Revolution steering wheel. If you need further assistance, contact Grant Technical Service Support.